right, Trey. District 4.
All right. So with District 4, this area is most of the area is between Richmond, a little bit, well, not a little bit of North Carolina, but we go down to the North Carolina border and includes areas such as Brunswick, Charles City, Dinwiddie, Greensville, Prince George, Surrey, and Sussex. And then it also has parts of Chesterfield, Henrico, and Southampton, as well as the independent cities. So we got Colonial Heights, Emporia, Hopewell, and Petersburg. That area means a lot to me because I used to work out in Petersburg. Shout out to my people over there.
Dejan from Petersburg.
I'm telling
Woohoo.
y'all,
Shout out to
man,
y'all.
don't let the stereotypes of Petersburg get you wrong. Don't let them control that narrative.
Petersburg has a lot of history.
It does.
And I'm going to share it with you guys in like the next year. I can't wait.
I'm telling y'all, but that's my bias. I used to work out there. Anyways, back to District 4. So interestingly enough, District 4, there will not be a primary for this upcoming election in August. The vote for this district will be happening again in 2027 because they break things up into 2-year terms. So the current incumbent is Charnel Herring, who's a Democrat. She's been serving since 2025. So that's why the elections will not be happening until 2027. Granted, it is Hampton Roads. We don't really have to worry about that, but it's also just good to know what's going on across the state. So that's why we're covering this. But what I wanted to do, since there's not an election, just kind of give some information on what Ms. Herring is doing during her tenure. So she's a part of a bunch of different committees, mainly pertaining to agriculture, Chesapeake and National Resources Committee. She's a part of a Labor and Commerce Committee, House Rules Committee, as well as Health and Human Resources. So she has been kind of doing a lot, has her hands in a lot of different committees, and has backed a lot of bills. A few notable ones have to do with health insurance and tourism zones and how to bring in more money for Virginia. So I don't want to go too much into what Ms. Herring has been doing, but you can find all of the things that she's done in her political career on Ballotpedia. That is me and Dee's go-to to get information. I definitely find it very helpful. So it's ballotpedia.org. That's where you can get more information on everything that she's been doing. But for District 4, again, there will not be a primary election for her. Honestly, there won't even be an election for that district until 2027. So quick and easy.
Easy. And now our last one for the day. Told you guys we had to break this up in 2 different parts. We might break it up in 3.
That's what it sounds like,
Might break it
because
up in 3.
it's a lot of info.
It's a lot.
And we this is the hard thing about being a journalist, y'all, is finding that balance of providing everybody with enough information and also
not too much information
and keeping things in time. So that's why we got to make these executive decisions sometimes.
On air sometimes.
Yeah. So please do not charge it to us.
Right.
We are doing our best, and we just want to make sure that everybody gets all the information y'all deserve to know. We all deserve to know. So, D, I'm going to let you cook with District 5.
Yes, our last district of the day. So District 5 has been represented by Republican John McGuire since 2025. Now, this is what I was saying earlier. This is the only district so far where a Republican is going against another Republican in the primary.
I was looking at the presentation, and District 5 is busy. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. And I'm thinking maybe District 5 has a Republican going against another one because Representative McGuire has a hard time with answering questions. So, as you guys know, earlier in the year, there was a lot of issues going on with ICE. These issues are still going on. The only reason that it doesn't seem like they're not going on is because we haven't talked about it. But please believe me, Minnesota is still fighting with ICE. There are still cities out here. We have just ICE agents, I believe, in Chesapeake Walmart last week, rounding up people. Yeah, it happens. It's just stuff is quiet now. Things have been infiltrated. People have been arrested. People are going to prison for propaganda. But I thought this was the land of the free.
Never that, D.
Nah.
The 13th Amendment, baby.
No. So when Representative McGuire was asked by ABC News what he would do if he was frozen out of an official investigation, if someone was killed by federal agents, what would he do? How would he react? He didn't answer that question. But again, I don't like he say, she say. I'm just going to play the clip.
And I understand your message, but I do want to repeat the question here. We learned that the FBI is conducting this investigation. Governor Walz says that his state officials have been frozen out of this process. They are not able to see any of the case files and information. I'm curious, what is your take specifically on that? How would you feel if that scenario played out in your home state of Virginia?
Well, I would say Governor Walz, I'm asking on him to resign. He's failed at every opportunity to lead. You've seen almost $9 billion in fraud in the Somali community. He's known about that since he's got elected. But for political purposes and trying to win elections, he did nothing about it. And it got worse and worse and worse. And talking with witnesses yesterday in Oversight Committee, it was career suicide if you were a whistleblower. They would go after you, blackball you, and make it so you couldn't get a job. And so every opportunity he has had to lead, and emotions are high in Minnesota and across our country right now. And Americans come up to me and say, I don't know if I'm paying taxes or paying criminals. And what a leader should do is lower the temperature. And when Tim Walz tells people he's going to turn the National Guard against federal agents, that's not lowering the temperature. When he tells people to get out there and protest, just like during the Summer of Love, when these people were setting buildings on fire with law enforcement officers in the building and barricading them and everything else like that, they used their money to bail them out of jail so they could continue to terrorize American citizens.
Congressman, you mentioned emotions being high, and so many people are calling for transparency. And so I'll ask again, the FBI, according to Governor Walz, has frozen state officials out of this investigation. What is your take on that? And how would you feel if that scenario played out in your home state of Virginia?
Well, I trust them to, we have good leadership and they have to have due process. I listened to an officer yesterday talked about how when he had somebody in the back of his patrol car, every time they would say, show the video, show the video, show the video. Well, this is the arrest phase. Once you get to the court phase, then you can look at the video. So look, if they're doing something wrong, then we need to hold people accountable, whether they're Democrat or Republican or what. But we need to keep the American people safe, and we need to stop this leftist lunacy.
All right, Congressman John McGuire, hey, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Awesome. Thanks.
One thing about D, she gonna pull up a receipt.
I'm gonna pull the
time.
receipts. Don't play with me.
Every time.
Don't play with me. So now Representative McGuire will be going against Melanie Lucero, who is a retired Marine, and she says she will fight for Virginia's values in Washington, but she is standing with President Trump to secure the border, cut reckless spending, and put families first. So the issues that she is focused on are veteran and constituent services, ending illegal immigration, Second Amendment rights, economy and jobs, right to life, America's first foreign policy, healthcare freedom, education and parental rights, energy independence, election integrity, and she wants to end congressional insider trading. Now, that's different from a Republican. She says members of Congress should not use their positions to enrich themselves. She supports the Restore Trust in Congress Act to prohibit members, their spouses, and dependents from trading individual stocks and securities with fines and profit forfeiture for violations.
Well, it's not bad. You really don't see that too often. And I think me and D we were talking about this before we started recording. Is that these policies they should have been in law that government officials also can't participate in like the stocks and insider trading and everything like that. So that's a win. Okay, let's see. How you move forward. Yeah.
But again, that's not for us because one, not my party. Two, not my district. That's for y'all, District 5.
Not my circus, not my monkeys.
Not my circus, not my monkeys. Now we have 3 Democratic contenders. We have Rob Trasinski. We have Suzanne, a.k.a. Dr. K. Krzyzanowski. And we have Tom Perriello. Now, Dr. K, find her on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram. She is available on those 3 sites. And she was actually just talking about AI. So let's see what she was talking about when she was talking about AI.
We can't allow the course of AI to be determined only by the guys in Silicon Valley. I'm here at one of our hospitals doing my least favorite thing, working on charts. And we now have an AI program that listens in during our encounters with the patients and writes a note. And it is helpful, definitely. But I have to go back and do sometimes really heavy editing of the note because the AI got something wrong or something's in there that shouldn't be, or it misinterpreted something. And, frankly, even before AI, just in the electronic medical record, there were I had a patient I referred to a premier medical institution with a very complicated problem, and it got written on the patient's chart that they had Crohn's disease, which they don't. And that's like multiplied like rat. Every now doctor who sees the patient there has Crohn's disease on their list, and it's wrong. Data is only worth it when it's good data. Crap in means crap out. And AI is just going to be too big and revolutionary in our society for us to leave it to the guys in Silicon Valley how it's going to be implemented. We need to be letting our representatives know, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, that they need to get on the ball and take this in hand. There are guys from Silicon Valley who are now making political action committees to give money to the politicians who favor their point of view. We need to stop this, and we need to get our representatives representing us and our interests as a society and how this is implemented.
Not enough for me. I'm sorry. You have to be. If you say that the AI is malfunctioning, how can you also say in the same breath that it's good?
Especially for something important as medical records.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's something that should be an absolute, not left up to an AI model, because that's somebody's life.
You just told us that someone was misdiagnosed.
So
and we see that happen way too often anyways. I don't understand the need to add on to the issues.
Yeah, so that is something that's very serious that I feel like, AI shouldn't be involved, especially when it comes to like any form of records, but especially medical records. No.
So Tom Perriello, I'm on his website now. The first thing that we see, donation, support his campaign. He wants to lower costs and raise wages. And what else do you want to do, Tom? What else do you want to do? So Tom says he spent 25 years winning tough fights, taking on corporate lobbyists, electric utility monopolies, and the Trump administration. He wants to push for our country to go bigger and bolder to deliver results that bring down costs, raise paychecks, and protect our democracy. But again, how?
That's something we need to get better at, folks. We need the hows. It could all be theory, but we need answers. That's what we're looking for as voters, and that's something that's really important. So, especially for our voters that are just listening, whenever you're just researching a candidate, use your critical thinking cap. And when you read something, also think, I wonder how that would work, so you could take that extra step and kind of get down to the answer and see if you align with that answer. Okay.
And we're not going to act like he doesn't have some blood in the game. He's definitely put in some work. He has put in some work. So he flipped one of Virginia's most conservative congressional districts back in 2008. And I guess he said he's going to do it again. So we'll definitely see. He believes every family deserves a fair shot at the American dream that leaves no region, race, or generation behind. And he has held over 100 hours of town halls. He says he did this because he believes you can't represent people without listening to them first. So I like that. But again, we're not going to give you a cookie for doing what you're supposed to do. But he has served on the boards of Indivisible and the Virginia League for Planned Parenthood. He has also co-founded Bird of Light Ukraine and Mutual Aid Sudan.org. Now, I'm surprised about that. Mutual aid for Sudan. Now we got to check and make sure that money actually going to Sudan. You're not slick. I don't let anything pass over here.
My eyes see everything.
Look, I'm tracking. Okay, I'm tracking. Now, last but not least, Trzynski. He says no kings, no oligarchs, and no rubber stamps. Quote, we have a president who thinks he's a king and a Congress that lets him act like one. I'm running because Congress has stopped doing the job the Constitution gave it. He says instead of being a check on power, Congress has been a rubber stamp for an out-of-control executive. We literally can't afford Donald Trump's imperial presidency. This is why families are paying more every month, tariffs, special favors for politically connected oligarchs, and gilded vanity projects hurt ordinary Americans. Oh, he wrote a book. He said, I wrote the book on how Donald Trump has abused the Constitution.
That might be a read for me personally.
Yeah, he's on Substack. So if you guys want to see more from him, you can definitely read his Substack. Oh my goodness, I forgot to drop websites. I'm so sorry, guys. I know y'all need the spellings for these peoples. So Trzynski can be found at www.tracinski4congress.com. Tom Perriello can be found at www.tomperriello.com. And Dr. K website is not really functioning right now, but you can find her on Instagram at Dr. K for Congress. All of her media tags are Dr. K for Congress.
Okay, so if you guys, weren't able to keep up with the spellings and everything, I know it's a lot of information, but it's also going to be posted. It's going to be posted online. It'll have all the links to all these candidates' websites directly. So definitely take a look. So that was the end of this segment. We did districts 1 through 5, and we are going to break this down into multiple parts today, districts 1 through 5. And then we're going to figure out how we're going to break down the rest of the districts because it was a lot of information and we just want to make sure we get it to you guys in a timely manner. But definitely continue to do your research, participate in the primaries. Early voting will still be going on for a while. So you got plenty of time. And then the actual election will be in August. So this is Trey signing off. Dee, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Just make sure you guys are staying safe, hydrated, and informed, and you'll catch us in a few days.
Have a good one, Hampton Roads.
Have a great holiday weekend and stay safe.